You wake up at exactly 3:07 a.m. There is no sound, and you weren't having a dream. You simply lie there in the pitch black, waiting for your eyes to adjust to the shapes in the shadows. Modern bedrooms are built to be private and insulated. We lock the doors and draw the blinds to keep the outside world away. But the moment the lights go out, that same seclusion makes the room an effective environment for fear. An internet short story titled "The Eyes That Counted Me First" uses this specific setting to explore how our perception can be turned against us. The narrative is structured around a sequence of specific triggers that target the survival software hardwired into the human brain. Fear of the dark isn't a childish phase we outgrow. It is a biological baseline that leaves us vulnerable even when we feel secure. The story's first escalation occurs when the narrator spots two faint dots near the floor that refuse to blink. Within seconds, those dots multiply into dozens of eyes staring from every corner of the room. When eyes perceive two parallel dots, a neural pathway carries that signal from the visual cortex straight to the amygdala, the fear center. This evolved to identify predators camouflaged in low light. Sweeping cones of perception lock on to paired dots even amidst heavy visual noise. The story adds a psychological layer to this biology. The narrator realizes the eyes are counting them. In a survival context, synchronized, non-blinking observation is a hallmark of an organized hunting tactic. The dread in the scene stems from the protagonist's biological recognition that they have been marked as prey. The protagonist responds by remaining completely still and pretending to sleep, hoping the entities won't realize they have been seen. This is the biological freeze response. While we often focus on fight or flight, the freeze response is a primal defense mechanism used when a threat is too close to outrun. In the story, this instinctual reaction becomes a liability. The narrator is forced to listen to their own pounding heart and heavy breathing, worrying that these internal sounds will give them away. Entering the freeze state renders the victim immobile, trapping them inside their own mind as they wait for the threat to move. The fear moves from the visual to the tactile when one pair of eyes disappears, followed immediately by the mattress dipping under the heavy weight of an unseen entity sitting on the bed. This mimics the symptoms of sleep paralysis. When the brain is caught between sleep and wakefulness, it can generate realistic tactile hallucinations, such as the distinct feeling of pressure on the chest or the bed. The narrator then hears breathing that starts behind them, moves in front of them, and then seems to come from every direction at once. This removes the directional focal point. When you can't localize a threat in physical space, your brain loses the ability to calculate an escape, causing panic to increase. When the breathing fills the room, the threat stops being a localized monster. It effectively becomes the environment itself. In the story's climax, the protagonist finds the room empty and silent. They look into a mirror to calm their nerves, only to see all the eyes waiting behind them in the reflection. This top-down view shows the limited scope of human vision. The shaded red area represents the vulnerable space directly behind us. The story concludes by placing the threat within this permanent blind spot. The entities no longer need to hunt. They simply wait. Their movements are perfectly synchronized with the subject's field of vision, ensuring they remain hidden just behind the line of sight. Minimalist horror often relies on reminding us of the unseen predators our modern safety has allowed us to ignore. The next time you wake up in the dark, you might not just be looking for shapes in the corners. You'll be wondering if something is waiting for you to look away.